I was just sitting out here tonight. It's very cold. It's in the 30s, and there's a chilly breeze blowing. But I still love being outside, even when it's cold. I just love being outside in general, and it's just interesting to sit outside in all the seasons, because I think every season brings a different experience. And I was sitting out here tonight in the cold, and I was thinking about grief. And I was remembering the summertime, when it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and I can come outside and sit. And it's dark, just like it is now. But the darkness isn't frightening. The darkness isn't upsetting. And I think that's because there's usually a very warm breeze blowing. And it's like a caress, It kind of wraps around you, and it's comforting in a way. And there's these pockets of warm air that seem to play with the breeze. And there's just something about it that, even though it's dark, it just makes the darkness less intimidating, that warmth, But tonight, sitting outside in the cold, there is no warm breeze. The breeze is cold, and the breeze is sharp, and the breeze is penetrating. It doesn't feel like a caress at all. It's something that you don't want to touch you. That's why we wear coats, to keep those winds off of us. And it's on these cold nights that the darkness is more frightening. There's light. You probably can't see, but just above that ridge out there, about 3 miles away, is a ski resort. And sometimes at night I can see the soft glow from the lights of the ski resort. And there's lights here. Some lights from the snowflakes. And there's a star in the window that's lit. But the light isn't comforting in the cold. And the light doesn't bring warmth in the cold. The light, or the warmth from the light, it can't touch you. It's like standing outside on a cold night in front of a bonfire. You know it's warm, but it just can't reach you. The warmth can't get inside. And so even though there's light out here, it doesn't really penetrate the darkness that much. It doesn't go that far. And the warmth certainly doesn't reach you as well. I was thinking that it's kind of like grief. A cold night is kind of like grief. Sitting out here. Grief is really just, it's a suffering or distress over a loss. It's a painful regret. And grief is intensely personal, Like, I lost my parents, and my siblings lost their parents as well, but each of us experiences it much differently than the other. And that's because it is personal. And I think because of that, it's why we feel alone in our grief. Because we experience it differently than others around us. It's a universal emotion, but we don't all feel it the same. And I think that's what causes us to feel so alone. I know I have felt alone in grief for a long time. And there's no warmth that can touch it sometimes, and it just makes it dark. I'm not afraid of it. Well, sometimes I am. But then there's times when I know I have to deal with it. And I know I have to confront it. And I know I have to invite it in, let it live with me a little bit. So today, I was having those feelings again. And for me, and maybe some of you can relate to this, I have these feelings and I can't really describe them. It's like I know where they're coming from, but I don't know how to put them into words. And sometimes that's when I turn to music. Music is very potent on me. And that can be a good or a bad thing, because sometimes I have to be very careful in what I listen to because of what it releases. But then there's other times when music is an excellent therapist. And it helps me find my emotions and identify them. And I had such an experience today because I wasn't sure what was going on internally with me. And just as these things seem to happen in my life, it's been like this for a few years now. Just at that moment, a channel that I've just started following on YouTube, he released a video called A Meditation on Grief. And I will put the link down below, but he's playing the organ and he's improvising. And I listened to it, and it was exactly what I needed to sort of put the finger on the grief, and to, honestly, it helped release some tears that I think needed to come out today. And it was just what I needed. And I listened to it several times, and it was very haunting in a way. And in the description, the organist wrote that it was a product of the moment. He said it was emotive, endlessly replaying, like looping memories of years gone by. And it's true, sometimes grief just keeps replaying over and over and over again. And the music and his improvisation expressed that perfectly. It plays over and over again, but the sound is not always the same. The motive is the same, but how it's expressed is not. And so it made me very thoughtful today. Thinking about grief. It's part of the human condition. And I don't want to fear it. I know I need to sometimes embrace it. And I need to call it for what it is, so I can process it and, learn the lessons that I need to learn from it. And I love what Sean said at the end of his description. He said, an effort to break free is made, but not today. I would say not tonight. I don't think I should make an effort to break free tonight. Just maybe tonight, I should live in it a little bit, I don't want to be afraid of it. I want to learn from grief and see what it has to teach me.